In light of all the conversation about gender and identity, we began to wonder if there's even a difference between men and women anymore. We went to Seattle University to find out.
Is there a difference in your mind between men and women?
No, yes. I mean,
Possibly?
In general, yes. But I don't know why I think that.
Socially, currently, yes, there is. There is no need for that difference to exist, scientifically and logically.
if you think that you're a male, if you think that you're a female, that matters more than the biological difference.
There's not much difference besides what society forces onto people.
And how do you know the difference between men and women?
By what people think they are. So you can't judge someone just on their looks.
I don't think there's any one way to really distinguish between a man or a woman, and I don't think it's necessary.
It's not always consistent. It has a high probability, 98% of the time I can get it right. There is some ambiguity.
I think, there are ways to tell, but then again, you can always be wrong.
What would you say I am?
Just judging off of your looks, I would say that you're a male.
I would probably assume a man, but then you never know.
A male.
Why would you say that?
Based on how I look at you.
Do you think that's a problem?
Yeah, probably.
Do you think the difference between men and women matters for any reason?
No, not really.
I think most sociologists agree that the concept of gender is more of a societal construct.
I do think it matters somewhat, yeah.
To me, no. I don't feel as if it matters to me because at the end of the day, the person is just a person.
No, I don't think it should matter.
And the differences on a social level are simply a product of a biased society.
Then is there a reason to have those labels, male or female?
I don't think so. I think that it's, again, a social construct of this binary that we're given at birth. There is kind of a difference, but at the same time, if someone wants to identify as one or both or as nothing, I also find that completely okay. And
There may be nothing more self-evident in the natural universe than the fact that every animal species is divided into two halves, male and female. Yet the most intelligent of those species seems to be wrestling with whether male or female are actually real things. There's been a lot of talk about identity lately, but how far does it go? And is it possible to be wrong? We went to the University of Washington to find out.
Are you aware of the debate happening in Washington State around the ability to access bathrooms, locker rooms, spas based on gender identity and gender expression?
I think people should be able to have access to the facility.
I think bathrooms could and potentially should be gender neutral because there doesn't need to be a classification for differences.
I think people definitely should have the ability to go into whichever locker room they want.
I feel like at least public universities should do their best to accommodate for those who do not have a specific gender identity.
You should be able to utilize the resources.
So if I told you that I was a woman, what would your response be?
Good for you. Okay. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I'd be like, what? Really?
I don't have a problem with it.
I'd ask you how you came to that conclusion.
If I told you that I was Chinese, what would your response be?
I mean, I might be a little surprised, but I would say, good for you. Yeah, be who you are. I would maybe think you had some Chinese ancestor.
I would ask you how you similarly came to that conclusion and why you came to that conclusion.
I would have a lot of questions just because on the outside I would assume that you're a white man.
If I told you that I was 7 years old, what would your response be?
I wouldn't believe that immediately.
I probably wouldn't believe it, but I mean, it wouldn't really bother me that much to go out of my way and tell you, no, you're wrong. I'd just be like, oh, okay, he wants to say he's 7 years old.
If you feel 7 at heart, then then so be it. Yeah, good for you.
So if I wanted to enroll in a first grade class, do you think I should be allowed to?
Probably not, I guess. I mean, unless you haven't completed first grade up to this point, and for some reason need to do that now.
If that's where you feel like mentally you should be, then I feel like there are communities that would accept you for that.
I would say so long as you're not hindering society and you're not causing harm to other people, I feel like that should be an okay thing.
If I told you I'm 6 feet 5 inches, what would you say?
That I would question.
Why?
Because you're not. No, I don't think you're 6'5".
If you truly believed you're 6'5", I don't think it's harmful. I think it's fine if you believe that. It doesn't matter to me if you think you're taller than you are.
So you'd be willing to tell me I'm wrong?
I wouldn't tell you you're wrong.
No, but I say that I don't think that you are.
I feel like that's not my place as like another human to say someone is wrong or to draw lines or boundaries.
No, I mean, I wouldn't just go like, oh, you're wrong, like that's wrong to believe in it, because I mean, again, it doesn't really bother me what you want to think about your height or anything.
So I can be a Chinese woman.
You. Sure.
But I can't be a 6'5" Chinese woman.
Yes.
If you thoroughly debated me or explained why you felt that you were 6'5", I feel like I would be very open to saying that you were 6'5", or Chinese, or a woman.
It shouldn't be hard to tell a 5'9" white guy that he's not a 6'5" Chinese woman. But clearly it is. Why? What does that say about our culture? And what does that say about our ability to answer the questions that actually are difficult?
I'm here today because I'm going to be going to a doctor's clinic to see if I can be diagnosed as a man. I don't know if it'll work. I've got a pretty good getup, in my opinion. And because gender is on a spectrum, I mean, unless they're massive bigots, they'll have to give me the diagnosis.
So this is to, did you say identify?
To use, yeah, male identification.
This is to, okay, the letters of
Thank you so much. Okay, so I am in absolute shock right now. I am now medically diagnosed as a male. This is astonishing to me. I mean, it's quite clear that my hair is just up in a hat, but I guess that's all it takes to get your diagnosis. But I need one last thing to be a real man. I need to legally be a man, so we're gonna go and see if I can get my government ID changed to male.
One more thing, for purposes of this identification, I would like to be identified as male. I brought in all of the proper documents.
I'm glad you tell me. One moment, sir.
Yep. Okay, so as of today, I now have a doctor's confirmation that I should be identified as a male, and legal confirmation that I am indeed a dude. I honestly didn't expect it to be that easy. And you know what? Some people might be wondering, like, what's the big deal? So what if people can just change their gender whenever they want? How does that impact me? How does it impact society? Well, I'll tell you how it negatively impacts society. It makes us, as a whole, give up our sense of honesty, objectivity, and our respect for facts. I mean, we've gotten to this point of toxic hedonism where we've decided that we prefer feelings over objective honesty. We've decided that we prefer to do whatever makes us feel good rather than acknowledge the reality of situations. I showed up to get my government ID wearing makeup. I had my hair down. I was wearing high heels. I was talking like a chick when I was there. But when I said I want to be a male, the government worker played into my delusions because she doesn't want to get fired. And in fact, if Bill C-16 goes through, Trudeau's new bill on transgender rights, LGBTQ things, people could literally go to jail for denying someone's gender identity, no matter what they present as, no matter if they have a doctor's note or anything. You could go to jail. That is insane. Today, you can go into a doctor's office, and this is even before Bill C-16 has gone through, and it'll take you 1 hour, not even, to intimidate a doctor into giving you whatever identification you want. We're embracing calling professors they. We're considering making it illegal to question people's ridiculous pronouns. How far can this go? Society is going to come to a crossroad at some point. Are we going to embrace reality or fiction?
Emma, hi. You're neither male nor female, right?
That's true. I identify as non-binary, which
Right.
means that I'm neither male nor female, and correspondent to that, I use the they, them pronoun.
And you say gender roles are damaging our society, so we need to think very carefully about language, yeah?
Yes, so a lot of our social selves are codified and encultured in the language that we use. We really use it to construct our entire society. And what's certainly true is that there is a huge variance of gender presentation and gender identity within humankind.
What about people who are non-binary? What about people who are gender fluid?
We're all male and female. We've always... Yes, of course, we're all male and female. There are
What about
tiny,
transgender people?
There are a tiny minority of people who have intersex conditions, and there are a tiny minority of people who have some condition where they may have a female brain and a male body. Apart from this, we are all male and female, and the attempt to suggest that there is a third gender is, as far as I'm concerned, it's an ideological and a political project. It doesn't exist. The words male and female have existed throughout history, throughout the world. They refer, men are people who have penises, women are people who have vaginas. It's as simple as that. I would absolutely refuse to refer to this woman here, who's clearly a woman, as a they, because for me that would be imposing an ideological political system. Because she is. If everybody watching this programme can see that she is a woman. And that is imposing.
That's your problem. I think that's actually your
imposing.
problem. But you're imposing.
No, you are asking me to engage in an ideological, political system which I disagree with. I believe we are all male and female, and I
what they should be called is imposing an ideological system.
No,
I really want to come back and
it's
address
referring to a
just some of the
reality.
scientific
I'm off for a cup of
inaccuracies
tea.
Your respect for me is already diminished if you insist that I ascribe to some ideology of third gender, which I do not agree with. If this he and she is socially constructed, how come everybody watching this, everybody in the audience, can basically identify male and female just by looking? Occasionally there are people who are more difficult to identify, and we try to be tactful, but it's not just socially ascribed. It relates to a physical reality reflected in our voices, our appearances, in all kinds of ways.
Isn't life a great spectrum?
أرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه أفأنت تكون عليه وكيلا ولو اتبع الحق أهواءهم لفسدت السماوات والأرض ومن فيهن بل أتيناهم بذكرهم فهم عن ذكرهم معرضون